14 billion years ago, before the first atoms formed, before stars sprinkled the darkness, before even the passage of time as we understand it, there was the first moment that ever was, a singular origin from which everything else would unravel. From some unknowable state of pure energy, the universe was born, expanding and evolving, separating what was from what could be. Out of this chaos, the laws of nature emerged, steady as the drumbeat of existence, creating order out of wild potential. In these earliest eons, hydrogen and helium danced in the cooling void, swirling and collapsing under their own gravity, igniting the first stars. These ancient engines forged new elements, their lives marked by brilliance and devastation. And when they died, they seeded the universe with possibility. From that residue, carbon, oxygen, iron, came new stars, new solar systems, new worlds, some cold and barren, some too hot to hold together, some with just the right balance. On one such world, billions of years after the first light, a delicate chemistry began. Simple molecules stitched together in restless cycles, driven by sunlight and chance. Perhaps, governed by the inexorable rules set into motion at the beginning, complexity was inevitable. Or perhaps it was a throw of the cosmic dice, the wind so unlikely that it beggars belief. Either way, life appeared, the most complex thing the universe had ever known. For eons, life was nothing grand. Single-celled creatures, eking out an existence against overwhelming odds, battered by a hungry world. Through countless generations, competing, cooperating, combining, life branched into new forms. Multicellularity arose, and with it wondrous diversity. Plants unfurled to drink the sunlight, animals wriggled in the muck, and fungi made their homes in the shadows. Eventually, fueled by the relentless engine of evolution, new beings colonized the land, transforming the world and being transformed in return. Most of these ancient creatures are gone, lost to time, remembered only by the imprints of their bones in ancient stone. A few million years ago, among the multitudes of creatures, emerged an animal that would change everything. It crouched by a stream, studied its own reflection, peered at its hands. A glimmer of conscious thought sparked behind its eyes. Something had shifted. Awareness was awakening. That spark flared across generations, becoming brighter, stronger. In these hominins, still close to the apes, something extraordinary began. The ability to imagine, to wonder, to tell stories. The history of humanity is a staggering succession of leaps, each generation building upon the struggles and triumphs of the last. Over hundreds of thousands of generations, language blossomed, societies formed, and culture took root. The early human story is one of hardship, cold, hunger, disease, danger lurking behind every shadow. But it is also a story of perseverance. Our ancestors shared food, comforted the scared, and stood together against a world that seemed determined to break them. It is likely that, to make sense of their world, they told stories of the stars, the forest, the hunt, and each other. 200,000 years ago, in the blink of an eye on the scale of the cosmos, Homo sapiens arrived. They were dreaming animals, stubborn and hopeful. The world aged, but they refused to let it defeat them. New tools emerged, knowledge was passed from one living memory to the next, sometimes painted on a cave wall, sometimes scratched into a bone, and later etched in ink, then pixels. Humanity spread across the planet. In the span of a few thousand generations, agriculture emerged, enabling the first cities, and the first empires rose and fell. Living became less uncertain. People tamed the land, then each other, and invented new ways to live. Writing gave voice to thought across time and space. Science and reason joined myth in our search for understanding. In just the last several centuries, the pace of change turned breathless. Industry, electricity, vaccines, computers, each discovery a step, each invention a new vista. Yet for all this change, some things remain stubbornly the same. We are still the creatures molded by scarcity and danger. Fear, greed, desire, loyalty, these ancient impulses swirl within us, compelling us to protect what is ours, to distrust those unlike us, to seek comfort and security, to vie for status and certainty. We are built more for tribal struggle than for planetary abundance. The very traits that served us so well in a savage world, resourcefulness, suspicion, defensiveness, now turn inward and outward in ways that imperil our future. We have built wondrous machines and dazzling cities, but we are still moved to anger by petty slights, still quick to draw lines between us and them, still losing ourselves in stories that justify brutality and overlook suffering. These old instincts lead directly to the problems we face. The planet groaning under the weight of our ambitions, communities fractured by tribal logic ported onto a world that desperately needs unity, technology accelerating beyond the ethical wisdom that should accompany it. For many, the present feels suffocating. A time of mounting uncertainty and gloom, where every headline brings news of disaster. Some days, it feels as if the world teeters on the brink. But there is another story to tell. Looking back across the centuries, it becomes clear that though we are flawed, we are not doomed. Never before have so many lived lives so long and healthy. Hunger, poverty, and violence, once the constants of existence, have been beaten back, though not defeated. More people than ever are afforded the dignity of autonomy, opportunity, and peace. Science has turned once devastating diseases into footnotes. Millions are lifted from want each year. The arc is not straight, but trends toward hope. We have, as a species, an unmatched capacity for reinvention. Each time we stumble, each time darkness seems to grow, stories emerge to light the way. The stories we choose to tell ourselves matter. If we decide that we are stuck, that our nature is immutable, that suffering is inevitable, then we cede our future to fear. But if we choose to believe that the story of humanity is still being written, that another great leap is possible, then we step into possibility. The future is uncertain. The very tools that threaten catastrophe also offer salvation. Artificial intelligence to solve problems too complex for any one mind. Biotechnology that may eliminate disease. Renewable energy to restore balance to a wounded planet. We have, for perhaps the first time, the means to create a world where nearly every person's needs are met. It will not be easy. There will be setbacks and mistakes, and in some places, the darkness will deepen before the dawn. But if we persist, if we grow into the gift handed to us by all who came before, the possibility remains. To create a world better than any yet imagined. You living now are the inheritor of 1,000,000 generations' dreams and labor. You have reason to mourn what is broken, but also reason to hope and act for what might yet be. This world is flawed, yes, but it is also the best that has ever been. And if we keep telling the right stories, stories of solidarity instead of separation, of creation rather than destruction, perhaps we can help write a future fit for the astonishing beings we might yet become. Did you find our videos helpful? Please like and subscribe to our channel so we can be motivated to answer the questions that people are still wondering about.